All right, we are live and recording. Let's just wait for a minute so that everybody who has registered can join us today, and then we can get started with the webinar. I think we can get started. Hey everyone, thank you for joining today's webinar session. To give you some general information, we will be recording this session, and everybody who has registered will be receiving a link to the recording. This video will also be uploaded on Beagle Security's YouTube channel, so that if you want to drop off at any point, you can do that and come back and see the recording when you have the time. Also, at the end of the session, we'll be having a Q&A. So if you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to add that in the comment section. We will be selecting a few questions at the end, and Gincy will be answering those questions. To get things started, my name is Abby, and I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager at Beagle Security. And with me today, I have Gincy. Gincy is an AI security specialist with Beagle Security. And today she'll be speaking about the topic, relevance and importance of shift-left security. Giving it over to you, Gincy.
Hi everyone. Today I'm here to share my thoughts on relevance and importance of shifting security to the left. I'm Gincy. I'm working as a AI security specialist at Beagle Security. Before I jump into the main topic of today, I would like to discuss about digital transformation that is taking place all around us. So, what is digital transformation? It is the integration of digital technology into all areas of our business, that is, in the operations and delivering of value to the customers. Recently, due to COVID-19 pandemic, companies were instructed to adopt work from home. So, the drastic shift to the remote work actually increased the usage of cloud solutions. In fact, 92% of organization uses public, private, or hybrid solutions of cloud. Small to medium-sized businesses were first movers to the cloud, and now enterprises are also embracing digital transformation and they are moving to cloud solutions. Some of the driving factors is the ease of accessibility, low setup and maintenance cost involved with that. Cloud services are getting more attention because of the stated features, pay per use. That is, only we need to pay for the resources that we are using and ability to scale up or down the resource. That is, if we need any additional resource, we can scale up, and if we doesn't need any resource, we can scale down. So the scalability is also another feature. And resilience, that is the ability to recover from the possible disruptions, and self-service, that is we don't need any assistance from a third person or a representative of cloud to use the resources. So these all are the factors that is giving attention to cloud solutions. And these benefits with lower IT cost and faster delivery of applications into the market and better quality of service compared with the traditional system. The traditional enterprises faces two major issues when migrating to the cloud. The first one is that the existing business applications were created on a traditional prototype and they were using a fixed or static capacity in a few data servers. So migrating them to cloud solutions will be a complex task. Simply moving them won't give any dynamic features of cloud also. That's the basic or major issue. And the next thing is developers who are developing these applications were more aligned with the traditional approaches. So in the traditional enterprises, they were following that practices also. So when they were moving to the cloud solution, they should reskill or upskill in order to develop application in cloud infrastructure or cloud framework. So that are the major issues. And let's talk about cloud security. As the cloud adoption increased over the last year, so did the number of cyber crimes. The number of cyber crimes increased in the January to March 2020. Around 63% of increment happened, and 79% of company have experienced at least one data breach in the past 18 months. So, what is cloud security and what is the security attained in that? Most traditional IT environments adopt a perimeter based cloud security approach, that is castles and moat approach. What it means in security model is that If we need to access any information inside a network, if the public needs to attain the information, they don't have the privilege to attain that. Only the people resides inside the network. Everyone inside the network can access the information. This is a kind of like castles and moat security where in cloud solutions, we have a modern hotel-like security, that is a key card which allows permission to access the floors and rooms. So both the security models are entirely different, and adopting cloud security from the traditional security model is kind of a difficult task. We can define that cloud security as a collection of security measures to protect cloud-based infrastructure applications. Due to the difficulty, if we doesn't move our traditional approach-based applications to the cloud solutions, it will be having a very adverse effect or impact on cybersecurity. Why would we care about cloud security? When we look at the biggest data breaches over past 3 years, we can see a lot of familiar names here. You can see Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft, etc. In April 2021, a biggest data breach of 530 million Facebook users was publicly posted on an online hacking forum. The leaked data appears to be hacked from Facebook around in 2019. A group of hackers used a vulnerability in Facebook's contact importer. That's how the data was leaked. And another biggest factor in these is that these data breach records were available on the dark web for sale. So all the information can be gained by an attacker by using dark web. Even these critical data breaches were happening around. Only 1 in 5 organizations assess their overall cloud security posture. So that is a critical thing. And as a whole, what I intend to convey is that appropriate action should be taken from the management level. They need to understand how these data breaches are affecting or exploiting the application or the business, and what's the need of embracing shift left approach to the application security. Even with companies who are following DevOps practices, only 20% of organizations were integrated into their development process, and that's a worrisome number. Because in the development phase, focus were only given to the technologies and frameworks that suits to the application. But we should also give importance to the security because attackers are changing their mode and their attack tactics day by day. So if we are using our technology or any solution, we should find relevant attacks or vulnerabilities related to the technologies or frameworks because we are developing applications on them. That's a basic need, and we should also incorporate security in the development process. Security is a biggest inhibitor for the businesses when we think about that, but it is also a greatest accelerator. It can enable better business outcomes by being fast. By being fast means cloud deployments can be done in a minutes or hours rather than taking months or that was taken by traditional applications. The configurations are already predefined and we need to set up only according to our need. So it would be very fast and frictionless. That means the tools and platforms were designed to run along with the current digital environment with any businesses. So it will be smoothly handled that the adoption will be very smooth and easy to implement. And scalability, that is, as I already told you, we can increase the resource consumption, decrease the resource consumption according to our need based on the changing demands. So that's also a driving factor. And proactive, that is with preemptive controls established any block accidental or malicious security incidents from happening. We have preemptive controls for that. And cost effective, in cloud solutions we integrate security into our applications from the beginning to end, so we don't need any rework, and the cost associated with the rework can be negotiated to other traditional IT approaches. And what exactly is shift left security? To understand, let's first look at software development processes. Software development pipelines typically are of four key processes, that is design, development, testing, and their release update. So in traditional pipelines, quality and service testing, the testing is given only after the development phase. This means that if there is any significant changes needed, for example, an architectural change, then fixing them at the end of the process will be highly expensive. If any vulnerability is there, for example, in the framework or in the technology, then the entire process should be redone. So this will be very cost consuming task, and once the issues were detected, it can take a long time to find the to analyze the situation and design the appropriate remediation and implementing that. The development team may be working on the complex production systems and which accumulate a series of interconnected problems for resolving the scenario. Shifting security to the left means introducing security checks during the development phase. The ultimate goal of shift left security is that converting the reactive phase to proactive posture. This approach ensures that the software is designed securely from the start itself, and rather than checking the security at the end of the development process, which will be a hectic task. And on top of it, we can analyze the flaws or vulnerabilities that the development environments provide a better idea. Okay, so we can cope up with that and generate protection mechanisms when software goes live. Importance of shift left approach. Shifting left, making changes in how, when, and where to apply the security best practices. Security must build trust with developers and DevOps. What happens when security is separated from software development? The vulnerabilities can be undetected or it can easily slip through uncovered. If the application goes to product, then we are recovering or we are finding the vulnerabilities, then it will result in a high cost and in an emergency situation where we need to release immediate patches or immediate recalls for the certain situation. So it is a very critical scenario. It is a very evident fact for shifting security to left. In cloud solution with a robust security solution built in CI/CD pipeline, so teams can create checkpoints or any guardrails so that we can prevent from moving forward without fixing the vulnerability. So that is a factor, and the earlier you discover vulnerabilities, that will be easy to fix. If the vulnerabilities are detected at the final stages of our production, then the cost of development will also be higher and the task will also be complex. According to IBM, remediating defects during design is roughly 6 times cheaper than during implementation. And addressing these security issues during testing can be 15 times more expensive than doing design. So as part of shifting left, you should provide the developers with the tools and frameworks so that they have to do only the particular job without adding any extra works on that. They may be already working with the development as well as the fixing of vulnerabilities while shift left approach. For analyzing these all things, we need an overview about the shifting left approach, so that we need to conduct any awareness classes and education inside the technical team, so the technical team will be strong enough to understand the scenarios and achieve a great impact in great outcomes. DevSecOps. The practical implementation of shift left approach is achieved through DevSecOps. DevSecOps stands for Development, Security, and Operations, which means it integrates security as a shared responsibility in the entire software development lifecycle. DevSecOps gives software sooner and safer, that automates the integration of security in each and every phase of software development lifecycle, and from the initial design through integration, testing, and deployment, and also in the delivery time, we are checking the security frequently. In each phase, security is integrated and performed by automating the security testing. And DevSecOps gives priority to security along with the development process. Security and development will go along in the same pace. They will be considered equally important in DevOps pipeline. The development will be faster and they will be also secure. Organization uses DevSecOps tools and practices to build a powerful foundation for applications to develop securely and safe, so that it won't be affected with any major attacks. When we shifting our applications into DevSecOps, what we should consider is that we should migrate our small accessible projects so that it will be easy to do that, and we can optimize for other processes and other part of our organization. DevSecOps lend repeatable and adaptive processes. Using them will be ensuring security consistently in the environment. DevSecOps adds important process. Even high-performing DevOps team can miss that. I want to give some tips for implementing or building DevSecOps culture, so you can use them in your organization. After merging our code, measure the time lost in between dealing with the vulnerabilities. Then that how much time you invest for that, and look for any specific pattern or any source of those vulnerabilities and make adjustments for improvement and identify any points or bottlenecks between the development and security and create a plan for how to resolve them and then execute based on plan instead of just adding another works and another task with it. We need to fix and move on and make small code changes. If we are moving or we are using bulk product changes and we are giving for review and optimization, it will be a difficult task. So we need to make small code changes and give them up for the review and all. Make scans in a periodic time interval so that every code will be reviewed and the vulnerabilities will be fixed in the source of creation as well and build security scans into the developer's workflow, that is integrated security according to the developer's stage of working, that is if the vulnerabilities align with the stage can be fixed in the state as well. If the developer move to the next stage and the applications of the previous stage is about to fix, then it will be a difficulty for developer team because they need to shift with the both stages and their work will be not well aligned. So we need to make sure that the developers vulnerabilities get fixed at each specific stage as well and reduce or eliminate any waterfall style security processes in SDLC. We have some trouble in moving to the new model, but we should change direction as needs according to the new technology arriving. Our organization should move with the new technologies and give security team the visibility in both resolved and unresolved vulnerability so that the team can decide who created them and can manage the status of remediation as well. And at Beagle Security, we are advocates of shift left approach. We have built an enterprise grade level solution which is powered by an AI core that works well with any types of website and frameworks. Using this platform, users can perform authenticated testing, non-authenticated testing, and they can adopt DevSecOps processes. And right from the early stages of our product, we are getting better outcomes since we are embedding AI into our platform, and it has been a core focus for our product. And that's into our presentation. Thank you for spending time with listening to me.
Thank you, Gincy. You covered a lot of important points in such a short amount of time, especially in terms of how companies can approach shift left and move to DevSecOps, and also the effective tips as well that companies can approach. A lot of actionable tips for people to get going with DevSecOps. We happen to have a few questions from the audience. I'll be picking maybe two or three, and Gincy will be answering those. So for the first question, we have for a legacy application, it's hard to migrate to the cloud. What are your opinions on that?
Okay, the legacy applications will be following a traditional prototype or a traditional approach. So, for migrating them to cloud solution, it will be a difficult task because they will be already designed to use any fixed or static capacity data centers or with a few data centers. So, moving them to cloud will require quite a time to complete the process, and also the developers who are building these applications will be more aligned with the traditional approaches. So, making them using the cloud solution only by upskilling or reskilling them, only after giving a proper education that it will be possible. So, this is the hardships faced while migrating to cloud.
Cool. And let's move on to the next question. So another question that we have is, if I want to get started with DevSecOps at my organization, what would be the first steps?
So, if we are planning to start DevSecOps, we need to give proper awareness to the team so that the team will be aware of the DevSecOps and what it means and everything. And we should move the migration and move our code uh, small code changes, and by step we need to move it to the cloud instead of giving the entire process migration to the cloud, and try to automate the testing processes and in a periodic time, and identify the vulnerabilities and apply the fixes, and as well keep the pace in order intact. That is, the development should also be done, as well as the security should also be done. So plan accordingly for that implementation, and the fixing or finding the vulnerabilities will be running along. And that is I want to give us an advice.
Cool. And let me just finish with one more question. So, what are the roadblocks that you have seen when companies try to adopt a shift left approach?
What happens when a company try to adopt shift left approach is that many companies, the team will be unaware, or lack of awareness is the main issue. That is maybe the common security issues or the vulnerabilities. Attackers are giving or changing their tactics day by day. New attacks were happening. Zero-day vulnerabilities are also occurring. So the team should be aware of at least a majority of the issues. If the team is not aware of that vulnerabilities, will affect the security of the developing application, and lack of collaboration with the team. That is, if the development team is not communicating well with the testing team, then the development and testing will not be happening in a same piece. So that's also a problem. And the delayed involvement of the infosec team. That means the infosec team are more aligned with the development processes, so they will be more concentrating on the development life cycle. So they will be forgetting to give importance to the testing, or giving importance to the security aspect. So that will also result in a bad way, and lack of required number of infosec employees, that the resources will be less. So they don't know how to compensate the resource unavailability. So that will also give a hardship for companies to approach shift left security.
Mhm. Thank you, Zinsi. That was a very thoughtful answer. So I think that's it for the questions. We can wind up for today. So I hope everybody found this session to be useful. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this webinar is recorded, and everybody who has registered will be receiving a link to it so that you can watch it again. This will also be up on our YouTube channel so that you can get a glimpse of the recording. I'd like to thank everybody for joining today's session. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about shift left security and also DevSecOps. If you happen to have any more questions, or if you want to discuss more about this topic, you can get in touch with us either through support@beaglesecurity.com, or you can also ping us on the live chat that's on our website. And to give you an introduction about Beagle Security, Beagle is a web application as well as API penetration testing tool that helps you to find loopholes in your application and fix them with actionable insights before hackers harm you in any manner. So if you want to get started with a free account, you can sign up for free and play around with the tool. That's it for today. Stay tuned for more webinars from us, and feel free to give us a follow on LinkedIn so that you can see all the insightful resources that we are putting out. Thank you and have a good day.